Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Jordan Babineaux.
And I'm Mary Ligon.
Today's guest is Houston Taylor, the Assistant Athletic Director here at Southern Arkansas University. Mr. Houston, what is it that you do here at SAU?
Well, I work in the Sports Information Department, which pretty much is like the public relations area for the whole athletic program. Keeps me busy.
Yeah, I bet, and keeping accurate stats and contacts have to be quite difficult, right?
Right, we're responsible for all of that. We keep all the stats for all those sports that require us to keep them for them. Plus, we do all the news releases that go out, like game stories, feature stories, whether it be on an athlete, the game itself, coaches, whatever the case may be. So it involves a lot of time.
Yeah, I'll keep you quite busy, huh?
Exactly. We put in a ton of hours. There's a lot of before game time, a lot of after game time, and of course that doesn't even include the normal work week.
Right.
So how long have you been doing this at SAU?
Well, I just got started back August 1st of this year. Now, I did it about 12 years ago, from 1990 to 93. The same job, except I did it as a grad assistant then. And lots changed over the years. A lot of it's still the same, but technology has been the biggest change. It's made parts of the job a little bit easier, but at the same time, it's a lot harder too, because now everybody wants everything quicker.
Yeah, so you don't have a lot of spare time to do anything?
No, not at all. No social life.
So what has to be your favorite job, the thing that you like to do the most?
Well, really surprisingly, the games themselves are about the easiest part of the job. I mean, it really is. The prep time for it and then the downtime after the game always takes a lot of time. And really the easiest thing in the world is being at the game, keeping stats, just handling things, making sure that everything's going to go okay during the game. So obviously that's the most enjoyable times during the games themselves.
Do you actually get to travel with any of the teams?
We do. I travel with all the football games, away games. I'm not quite sure yet how we're going to work like basketball and baseball. Before, when I did it years ago, I traveled with everybody. But now, because SAU's NCAA, back then we were an NAIA school, but now since it's NCAA, nearly all the schools have good sports information directors, their own staff programs and all that, so it's probably not as necessary that I have to go to all the away games for basketball and baseball. But since I'm just coming back through everything new this year, we're gonna see how it goes.
Okay.
So you're covering the football game tomorrow?
Oh yes, yeah, big game tomorrow. Harding, tough team, should be a good one.
Are you doing the basketball game, the scrimmage game?
Right, this next Thursday, that's the 14th, I believe. The men's basketball team is going to play the Akron Wingfoots, and they're an exhibition team of former college players, mainly small college, mid-sized college, and they will be playing Thursday night here. I believe that game's at 7 o'clock, and it's going to also be a benefit game. I'm glad you asked me that question. There's a little baby girl in town here who's had heart problems, and the game's going to be a benefit for them to help cover medical expenses. Admission's free, but they are taking up donations.
Okay, good. So how much has SAU changed over the years?
Oh goodness.
For being a student.
I came down a few years ago as a student. It has changed. Construction, people that have moved on, people that have retired, faculty. A lot of the faculty that I had when I was a student have retired. Some are definitely still here. A lot of good changes. You miss a lot of the old faces that you don't get to see around anymore, like I did when I was a student. But a lot of positive changes. I think it's a university that's on the rise. We've got a new president in who seems I think he was the right choice, and believe that the direction that we're moving in is a good one.
So you support the new construction that's going on here at school?
Oh, sure. It's been a long time, really, since we've had a lot of building going on campus at all, and really it was about high time that we did, because you want to make sure that you stay, in touch and in tune with what the other institutions across the state are doing, especially those that are close in size to what SAU is.
Well, talking to you previously before the show, I understand that you attended college here.
I did. I came down as a freshman in the fall of '82. I started out majoring in agribusiness. Set out for a while, transferred, came back to SAU, switched majors. So I've always got kidded about being a career student while I was here. But I did eventually receive my bachelor's in physical education with a minor in social studies. And then I went ahead and started working on my master's and finished it up in kinesiology in '93.
So what was it that inspired you to become part of the staff here at SAU?
I love the university. I really did. I'm not originally from here, but I came down here as a freshman and just really liked the place. This is basically my second home now. I've been in Magnolia for about 20 years and just enjoyed the college atmosphere, being around students, going to the different events that happen on campus and everything. So I guess really that's why I wanted to stay working with the university.
Well, what do you suggest should be done to improve the students, more students coming to SAU?
Well, the admissions department does a good job of getting out and trying to reach those students. That's the easiest way, really, to me, for them to be able to find out about Southern Arkansas University, the different college fairs that the high school students can attend and everything. The biggest thing plus that I see about SAU is that it's always been one of the friendliest, most helpful campuses that you'll ever find. I mean, it really is, and it's that way with staff, faculty, other students on campus. That's what I enjoyed about it as a student. I just kind of felt at home. We just, had groups of us that ran around and did things together and all that. And to me, that's the biggest plus that SAU has to offer. I've kind of always said, and hope people don't take it the wrong way, but it's a given to me that you're going to get a quality education at this university, but you're going to make friends and contacts that are going to last you a lifetime, and that is what's going to help you down the road.
That's a good thing to have when you're going away from home, coming to college, and people are always around to help you out.
Right.
Have you had any family members attend school at SAU?
My younger sister came down here for a short time. She started out up at Arkansas Tech in Russellville before we finally got her convinced that she needed to be down here. But she came to school here for a little while, but circumstances took her back home. But that's the only other immediate family member that I've had down here.
So you encourage people to come down here?
Oh, sure. You can't beat SAU. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best school around, without a doubt.
So you were an ag major here when you came first. What do you think would appeal to an agricultural major?
Well, first off, it's the best agri school in this part of the country. I mean, it really is. It's nationally known as a top agricultural school. The programs that they offer are just phenomenal. The instruction that students get, the rates that they have for students graduating and going on and going into the agribusiness field as FOAG teachers, whatever the case may be. I know that the ag department constantly gets phone calls year-round looking, asking for references on students and everything. They're looking for workers, and they call SAU first, trying to find ag students. It's a great department.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming up as an adolescent, I know you have to have someone you looked up to as an educator. Who inspired you the most as becoming as far as an educator and teacher?
Oh, gosh, well, that's a good question, too. The funny thing about that question is, growing up, the thing that I always said is, no way am I ever going to be a teacher. Bottom line, I'm not going into education. Wham. So you always need to be careful about what you say.
Yeah.
Larry McNeil here at SAU was probably one of the biggest factors in me for going into education. I started working for him in the intramural department as a student, and he's the one that really talked to me about my interest at that time were physical education and going into that field and getting a degree in it. So Dr. McNeil played an important role, and there were so many others. Dr. Delwyn Ross, Dr. Brown, Katie Marshall, just tons.
So what appealed to you as an HKR major here at SAU?
The department, there was a number of students in that field. We have more students in education on this campus than probably any other area. So I knew it was a good education program. And it was just it was a degree that I was interested in too. Excuse me. It just took me a time to really, find what I wanted to do.
So we have a lot of business majors here at SAU. Why do you think they come down here?
Just same thing as Agra, one of the top business schools around. I really feel like SAU doesn't get the recognition it deserves for the business department. They do get recognition. I mean, they are, I'm not saying that, they are known as a top business school, but I don't think a lot of people out there realize just how good they are. Dr. Rankin, who is with the business program for years out here, did a great job building on the program. The other business faculty that are here do such a tremendous job. And I feel like with Dr. Rankin moving into the president's spot, that it ought to put even more of a focus on the business department and continue to build that program up.
Well, Mr. Houston, where is it that you're originally from, and how did you end up in Magnolia?
Well, I grew up in a little bitty town called Hatfield, which is about 10 miles south of Mena. Most people may not know where Mena's at either. It's on Highway 71, about halfway between Texarkana and Fort Smith. And the reason I came down here was because of the ag program. I was real involved in FFA as a high school student in that youth organization, and if you were going to major in agri, hey, the place to go was SAU.
So what would you suggest as a job reference when you leave here at SAU? What would you go to look for a job? As
a student coming out? Oh goodness, it just depends on what area, degree field I was looking in and everything, and try to take the best route possible for wherever I wanted to go.
What makes you most proud to be a mule rider?
Most proud to be a mule rider. I can do the mule kick. We used to practice that quite a bit. I think it just goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. The people down here are just super. I mean, they're really, really great. They're good people to be around. They're great to work with. People you can depend on. Just being a part of that SAU family, probably.
If you had one word to describe the SAU experience, what would it be?
Oh gosh, another tough one. Fun. Just had fun from a student all the way through now. I loved it as a student, and I still feel the same way now.
Well, as a student, and now that you became part of the staff, what would you do to improve what is here established on the campus?
As far as standards on the campus?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, goodness. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe try to come up with a few more things that students can be involved with, give them a little more activities to do and everything. Try to build maybe different relationships with the community also, more things in the community.
Try establishing some kind of program that will bring students closer together?
Right, something like that. Just different activities for students to be involved with, give them a little bit more to be able to do.
Okay.
Well, saying that, is your office open to speak with students?
Oh, sure. Gosh, yeah. I mean, as much as I work, they can pretty much come in any time of the day, 24 hours a day, it seems like. But yeah, gosh, yeah, my door is always open. I teach here at the university also, and that's what I tell my students in the classroom at the beginning of every semester is, hey, anytime you want to talk to me about anything, feel free. Call me, come by and see me, that's fine.
Well, being so busy with the information and getting statistics correct, is there any other activities that you partake in on the campus?
It's hard. It's really hard for me. I try to go to different things. I try to make sure that I hit the plays that the theater department has, and anything else that's really offered. I do my best to participate in it, but we do put in a ton of hours, and a lot of times that keeps me from being able to be involved in some of the other activities that do go on. But we try.
Do you consider yourself a role model for some students?
Well, I hope so. I don't know if you could say that or not. Gosh, I don't know if you'd call it a role model or not. It's real easy for me to share my experiences with them if they want to know about it, because I did have such a great time here as a student, and obviously I did, or I wouldn't have stayed here in Magnolia. Role model, I don't know. I tend to try to leave that up to parents because I think that's about as good as you can get.
If you could do anything else, what would you do?
Take vacation. Seriously.
Well, if you can have any other job or be in any other department or anything like that, what would you?
Oh gosh, right now I'm where I need to be. That's the way I look at it. I try not to look too far down the road. We'll let that take care of itself as it comes along.
Well, being an ag major when you first got here, I heard that you used to recruit for the major. What would you do to improve recruiting as far as getting students here to come to Southern Arkansas?
Goodness, I did work for 2 years in the admissions department before I did take this position. And really, it's not just one degree, not just agri, not just business, but the university as a whole. It's easy to talk about the quality of education to students that they will get here. It's easy to talk about the business department and the agri department because they are such great departments. Just communicate with students, let them know what we do have to offer. Gosh, the main thrust of the SAU enrollment comes from a prime recruiting area that pretty much surrounds, like a 50 or 60 mile radius around Magnolia. It's real important that you do hit that area. Keep in touch. We probably draw about 70-75% of our students from that area, as well as the surrounding area. SAU's in a unique situation because we're very close to Texas and the Louisiana borders.
Right.
So it's a university that can go out and recruit in other states because we are close and really try to draw students in.
So what's the most significant thing that students have taught you here at SAU?
What they've taught me? Oh gosh. Watch what you say. I don't know. Goodness. I think they remind me every day of what it was like being back in school and everything. It's a great feeling for me to be able to look in students' eyes and see that they're having the same fun and enjoyment with their classes and activities and all that as I did when I was a student. So it's really not so much that they're teaching me, but they're reminding me, and that's good to see because that's still here even today.
Well, speaking of teaching, how has it affected you as far as your day-to-day life and your routine and being able to keep your status as far as, separating work from that reminder of what you had when you were in college?
Okay, it's, well, the teaching side of it is definitely part of the job, but it's a side that I wanted to do. I really had been looking at getting back into the teaching side of it. I taught public high school for a while, was looking forward to try to be able to do it on the university setting, and so it was something that I really wanted to do coming into this position that I'm doing now. With my degrees, being in the kinesiology field, it just fits in a little bit, ties in pretty well with the job that I do because I'm around the athletes day in and day out of all the sports, and the majority of what I teach and everything deals with athletics in some sense, if not directly. So it just kind of all works together and makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
Speaking of sports, I know that you're involved in all of them here on campus. What has to be your favorite?
Oh gosh, and I can't answer that. I have somebody on me. They're all my favorite.
Yeah, okay.
So have you taught at any other universities?
No, just SAU.
But you taught at public high school.
Right. Sure
What was different about those students?
Probably the biggest difference, of course, in the high school and everything, you have your students every single day. In college, you're only seeing them at least a minimum of probably once to twice a week, up to 3 times a week. Summer school, a little bit different because you're doing it every day. But that's a big difference because you're not seeing them on the regular basis all the time. The other, obviously, in the university setting, they want to be here. They want to further their education. So it's a little bit easier to me to be able to identify with them than maybe on the high school level sometimes.
So what is it that you exactly like most about the school here? Is it the fact that you came here as a student and you just like being in the atmosphere as far as the people?
Sure. I just, like I said earlier, I think I get kidded quite a bit because I seemed to be like this career student, and now I'm just staying here. Of course, I always said the ideal job is if they would just pay me to stay in school. I'd take classes for the rest of my life. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But just the people. I mean, really, the people are what make the university. You know, if you were walking around out here by yourself, you wouldn't stay here just because of the buildings. You know, it's obviously the people that make the school what it is.
Well, since the campus has grown so much, and Magnolia, the town, hasn't really, what do you think should be done about that?
I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. I'm not exactly, civic or leader as far as the business side of things, but it seems to me like we obviously need to try to draw some more businesses into the Magnolia area, build up the economic sides of things a little bit. That may help the town to grow a little bit. The town does a good job of supporting the university, and it's a unique situation when you are able to have a university in your town because it's a two-way street. It provides opportunities for both the university and the community, and they can draw upon each other and feed off each other. And so it's really a good setting, and I would say just look at the importance of that a little bit more, try to build up the community a little more economically and see what happens from there.
Is it good for a lot of kids that come from Texas or Louisiana and they come here and they get small town Arkansas ethics put into them when they come here?
Well, I was going to mention that too. Another good thing about SAU is the fact that it is in a small town. That was nice for me coming down as a freshman, coming from a little bitty small school, or grew up in a small town like I did, and I like that. I've attended other large universities. Of course, I've been on a number of large universities through the years. Felt comfortable at both of them. I mean, they both have their benefits. They may both have their drawbacks, but I did like the fact that SAU was in a smaller setting. It's a little bit easier to get to know people, a little bit easier to get help with something if you need it. So that's definitely a draw too. And that's not for everybody, which is fine, but I do think that a lot of people like that small school setting like what SAU offers.
I feel like it's really personal, like really one-on-one, and you get a lot more help here.
Right, and that just carries down. It's the same way with Magnolia in the community. As out here at the university, and it really is easier to get that one-on-one help more when you need it. For students in the classroom, I mean, you can't beat the teacher-student ratio that the university has, and it's really an easy way for a student to get help.
So, what are your thoughts as far as the construction? I hear the university is under a blue and gold construction plan. How do you feel about what the university is doing and where it's headed?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, I think our enrollment in the next few years is looking at being, going up. We have to have new dorms in order to meet that need. We already need new dorms to meet the need of the high number of students that we have. Obviously, we need like a new science building, more academic buildings. Some are older, outdated. Some have just basically outgrown the areas that they are in. I think you'll see more coming up down the road as far as new buildings, whether it be academic, athletic, whatever the case may be. But it has been a number of years before you've seen a lot of growing on campus, or since you've seen a lot of growing, and I think you're about to see quite a bit over the next few years.
Thank you. Well, our guest today on the SAU Report has been Houston Taylor, the Sports Information Director here at Southern Arkansas University. I'm Jordan Babineaux.
And I'm Mary Ligon.
Thanks for watching.